Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm Little Fox. Today we will be recapping and investigating the events, relationships and key moments that occur in Season 1, Episode 1 of the most talked about TV shows of all time, The Walking Dead. At the beginning of the episode, we are straight away introduced to the main protagonist, Rick Grimes. He comes across a gas station searching for more fuel for his patrol car when he discovers one of the few children walkers in the whole series. This is a largely important part of the show, as it's the first impression that the audience will get, determining whether or not they continue with the show. Seeing that the creators of The Walking Dead decided to introduce the first walker of the show as a child, they show how merciless and ruthless the zombie apocalypse would be, giving the audience an indication of what horrors are to come. Following the intro scene, the world returns to regular life, showing Rick and his partner Shane Walsh. The director decided to give Rick and Shane a scene before any action takes place, which allows for the audience to connect with the two primary characters and really get a feel for their close relationship. This scene, however, also indicates how different the two characters are from one another through the conversation they have about Rick's wife Lori, which will be a large issue in the future. Suddenly, dispatch then informs and directs them to a crime in progress, with two armed suspects on the run. Leaving the gas station they are parked up in, Shane puts on his hat, shown in the following scene. But once Rick and Shane get to the crime scene, Shane decides against his previous decision and takes his hat off again. I suppose he realised midway through his ride that it made him look like a right tosser. They manage to eventually take out the two suspects, despite their abominable aim. However, then comes out a third, who subsequently shoots Rick.
You understand?
Shane rushes to his aid, attempting to comfort him, but all he can say is, I don't know about you, Shane, but I can't exactly hear Rick crying out for his life after passing out. Rick then goes into hospital, where he stays in a coma for 2 months. At the beginning of his stay, Rick is visited by Shane, who brings him flowers which were apparently bought by their whole family and friends. If these flowers were the only thing they got for Rick, his family are either extremely poor or don't give a shit about him. These flowers look like the ones you could buy from a discount pile at Morrison's because nobody wanted to embarrass themselves by unironically gifting them to their loved ones. To be honest, it was a relief that the flowers had died by the time Rick woke up, or else he would have realised how little his family were actually concerned about him. Furthermore, we don't even see his family visit him, only his work buddy. By the time Rick awakens from his coma, the world has already been destroyed by the zombie outbreak. Clocks within the hospital have stopped working, which makes sense as they would run out of batteries during the apocalypse. However, it seems quite unlikely that they would have all stopped at the same time, 2:15. However, the show clearly seems to think otherwise. Rick makes his way through the hospital and finds many disturbing sights, as well as the iconic, and yet very informative, "Don't Dead Open Inside" door. He exits the hospital and finds himself amidst a large quantity of body bags, supposedly filled with the dead. Rick goes back to his house, searching for his wife and kid, who we soon find out is called Carl. After discovering his family are missing, he receives even more torture as he becomes a victim of a violent crime.
Daddy! Carl.
This new character, called Morgan Jones, and his son Dwayne, reveal all the havoc that has been going down recently, you know, the whole zombie outbreak thing. He lets Rick stay the night, where he discovers how the walkers work and how they hunt. The next morning, Rick leads Morgan and his son to the police station, where many weapons and ammo are still stored. They help themselves to as many weapons as they can carry, and take lovely warm showers, while seeming to make as much noise as bloody possible, even though they know that walkers are attracted to sound. Well done, Rick. Smart move. I'm happy that Rick starts to wisen up relatively quickly in this show, or else it would have ended before we even got to meet the legendary Daryl, or even Glenn for that matter. After all the noise they caused in the police station, I'm glad they at least decided to leave, so they don't stick around the place they know is infested with walkers. Oh wait, I was wrong! Morgan then decides to split up from Rick and go their separate ways for some unknown reason. What a good idea, huh, Rick? Anyway, Rick gives Morgan a radio so they can stay in touch in case anything bad happens, like the end of the world isn't bad enough already. Rick heads off towards the big city of Atlanta, where he believes he'll be able to find some people and maybe even his family. Rick uses a radio inside his police cruiser in an attempt to make contact to anyone inside Atlanta. His message is heard by a group camped just outside the city. The group consists of a few currently unknown survivors, but also Shane, Rick's wife, and his son Carl. It is shown in a small scene that Laurie is having an affair with Shane, and they are currently unaware that Rick is still alive. Returning to Rick, his car runs out of gas on his way to the city. So you're telling me that he just didn't bother to check how much fuel was in the car before going for a drive where he could easily die? My god, I forgot how big of a knob he is at the beginning. After an unsuccessful search for fuel, already seen in the opening scene of the episode, Rick tries his luck at a lone house where he finds a dead couple. However, Rick luckily discovers a horse around the house, which he decides to steal and ride to Atlanta, like out of some kind of cowboy and aliens movie, but instead of aliens, it's zombies. Heading into Atlanta, there are many signs that the city has already been abandoned. However, Rick still decides to search the streets. He finds a tank in the middle of the street, supposedly from when the army attempted to take back or defend the city from the undead. His horse then becomes startled by a horde of Z words after turning a corner, causing Rick to fall off, dropping his bag of guns and leaving him helpless and surrounded by walkers. He crawls his way into the tank, where he finds a door thingy leading up inside of it. He finds one last walker inside the tank and is forced to shoot it, causing the noise of the gun to deafen him from the echo. It's a surprise that most of the characters are still able to use their ears after the first few episodes, seeing as they are constantly using firearms without any ear protection at all, and a lot of the time right next to their ears. That's probably why so many walkers are actually able to easily creep up behind them without them even noticing. The tank is shown to be completely surrounded by walkers, with no possible way out. It seems like Rick is helpless. However, a voice comes in over the radio of someone on the outside watching him, and they want to help.
Dumbass. Yeah, you in the tank. You cozy in there? Yeah.
So, we end off this episode with the audience only knowing the whereabouts of Rick, as Morgan and his son have gone off on their own to fend for themselves. However, we also know Shane, Laurie and Carl are with an unknown group, but they appear to be pretty safe for the time being. We also have a mysterious character who is shown to be in contact with Rick at the end of the episode. However, we are unaware of who this is so far. Thank you all so much for watching the first episode of my brand new series. If you would like to follow along the story with me and analyse all the characters and events throughout the show, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you did enjoy, and goodbye for now.